guys. Waking up early morning. Huh? Well, wait, you don't want to be on the camera? This is live. Anyone's coming out here, you're recording. What magazine are you with? It's a good chance for everybody to go to the article that you're writing. What's your name and what magazine? But you're here interviewing them, and it was full transparency. It kind of goes both ways. There's hundreds of people in this city that are personally participating, and thousands across the world. They want to know that where can they go read your article?
I don't want to be on live feed.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the object. That's part of the agreement of coming out here. You're coming out in patrols. You know we do live feeds. What? Okay. Well, anyways, do you know that information so everyone watching can know where to find wherever her article is? It's like a magazine or something, right?
It's a magazine, and they've got like it's a smaller thing. It's like a non-profit, she said, with 30,000 readers, and it's like one of those big magazines. It's kind of a limited subscription thing.
Oh, okay.
So
she won't give us their information. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
what have you here? Anyways, I'll go and just in case I know she's interviewing you. What's been your take? What have you seen while you've been out here? How long have you been out here? There's people that are like watching everything. Just your perspective.
For 10 days, I got a video together. I want to post at some point.
Okay.
I found like stuff like this.
You were there when the skull was found.
This is footage I took. No one's seen this yet.
Yeah, those are for their time. Sorry, but go ahead.
So yeah, I was here for 10 days, and then I went back up to Phoenix, where I live, where I come from, for Father's Day, and then I'm back, and I'm probably here for the summer or longer to keep searching, and because this stuff is real. I've been researching child trafficking stuff ever since about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago when Pizzagate broke. And I saw that get covered up.
Now, what's Pizzagate? Because she was asking me about that, and that's the pizza parlor incident or whatever is that. What's the Pizzagate thing? So this is related not to cartels. This is related to pedophilia networks, right?
Pizzagate really has nothing to do with what the mainstream media said. The mainstream story was that it was like Hillary Clinton has her own pedophile ring that operates out of James Alefantis's Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria. And that wasn't exactly it. What really happened is a hacker known as Big Fish, who found child porn on the protected section of the Comet Ping Pong website, cometpingpong.com/protected. He got through the encryption and found a bunch of zip files that had child porn on them, gave those files to the DCMPD, the FBI. And then a week and a half later, Edgar Madison Welch walked into the pizzeria with a rifle and shot the hard drive and was arrested because he was looking for the kids. He just so happens to be an actor, IMDb page and everything, and other weird connections. But
so you guys feeling that was just cover up and how they said it? All right.
And then the media drowned that whole thing and made everyone who investigated look stupid. And then it was
kind of like they're trying to do with this sex camp almost.
Like
yeah.
So when I saw this getting drowned and like threads getting deleted online, just like Pizzagate, during Pizzagate there was all this great research that was just disappearing online, and the same thing was happening here. Yesterday an 8chan research post was hard deleted. You can't find it anymore. That was covering all the stuff here. So and then the media coverage, it was obvious that was a child camp, and the media called it a homeless camp, and then all this stuff. So I knew it had to do with the same elite players probably. So that's why I came down. I came down because
Did you get a chance to see the camp?
I didn't get a chance to see the Cemex camp because you guys got kicked out before I got there. Oh no, I did go in. I went into they had bulldozed it because I went in to grab some of your.
So you got to go in after they had already bulldozed the site.
Yeah.
All right.
But I picked up some of your supplies and for you guys and brought them back, but I didn't get to actually see it firsthand. But I saw the videos. Obvious. There's straps on the trees. We've met people who were like, yeah, those were rape trees, because when I was a kid, I was strapped to trees like that. So
yeah, the human trafficking victims, the ones media didn't want to interview. Yeah.
So it's absolutely the truth, and it's being covered up, just like Pizzagate was. That's why Chelsea Clinton called it Pizzagate too. And you know, that's what I was saying before she even said it. And it's a massive cover-up. That's what drove me. That's what drove me to come down and try to cover it independently myself with my little camera and my little YouTube channel, because I think only independents can really get this story out, because everyone else who works for a major news organization works for one of the 6 companies that control 90% of what Americans see, and they have an agenda and they have certain things that you can and cannot say, or you're going to be fired. So nobody in the mainstream is able to even report on this accurately without risking their entire career. So the only people that are going to be reporting on this accurately are people who are independent like yourself, or others who decide to come down here. So we need more people coming down who are independents and want to come down for the right reasons to help kids. This stuff is real.
What are some things you've seen out there? 10 days you've done, then, well, I don't know on your count, but I know you've got like close to 50 different spots you've been going out to. So what have you seen in the desert out here so far?
So the biggest thing was the skull. It was a child's skull, and it was defanged. It didn't have any teeth, so that could indicate that it was a ritually abused kid, and they pulled out the teeth maybe when it was alive. That's something that ritual Satanists do, or maybe they just pulled out the teeth to make it so they couldn't identify the body. But it was a tiny little skull, and clearly, a child. But when it got sent to the lab, somehow they determined it was an adult. So I saw that firsthand. I got video of it myself, and then I also went out to another camp, and we found, like, a lot of this stuff comes from witness accounts from locals out here. So we went to another camp where people said kids were coming in and out of it, and we found a bunch of kids' toys. We found a bunch of beds burned. We found all this new dirt, like people had buried stuff. And we didn't have shovels that day, so we used an axe, and we dug through one of them. We found a bone, and it really looked like a human bone. We sent that out we told police and everything, and nothing ever came of it. We never heard about that again. And then we went to another site the other day and found another trafficking corridor, and there's kids coming through because we saw baby bottles. At that site we found the bone. We found baby seats or car seat, baby clothes. So there's little kids, and like migrants are some of the most, especially the kids, are some of the most vulnerable people in the world. So those are always the people that are most likely to be taken or whatever, because they're undocumented and nobody's looking for them and nobody knows they're there, because that's the whole point. They're trafficking, they're migrating incognito. So they're the most vulnerable people, and then at the same time you have these powerful groups who know all these lines and can intercept and abduct people. I think that's probably akin to what's going on out here. And so I'm just out here to help this group. This is finally someone's taking action on this stuff. This stuff, it's probably been going on for thousands of years amongst the elite or whatever. But we're getting all these revelations lately, and I think this is the best front against it going on in the world right now is Lewis Arthur's VOP program, and they just stumbled upon it, and they're doing the right thing, and a lot of people think it's crazy or something, but I think it's more crazy to not do anything, to not look at this child trafficking stuff and do something. I think you're crazy for not doing anything. So if you have any inkling, or if you care one iota about kids, you should really come out here and get more boots on the ground. We need more searchers. We need more people covering this accurately, independently, because the media is not going to do it, because if you think about who can afford to buy a kid, they're expensive. You make more money on kids than you do on drugs, selling drugs and stuff. So typically these are very powerful people, which is probably why the immediate media response to it was to cover it up.
So you're going to be here for a long. Now, what have you learned anything? What's been like with the veterans that you go out with on searches and everything?
It's been great. I feel super safe with them.
You don't carry a weapon.
I don't carry a weapon because I grew up in a family where my family's grew up in Britain, so like guns weren't a big deal there, and out here they don't really get it. So I grew up thinking guns were. I thought gun people were crazy until like 3 years ago, and I started hanging out with them, and I realized they're some of the most sensible people in the world, and so I feel really safe. It's great to have a security force around me. There was one day where I was like, I kind of wish I had a gun, because we heard a lot of dogs barking that day, and I think we were coming up on something, and we decided to turn around. But I do feel safe around the guys who do. They're all trained. They're all they know what they're doing, and they're not trigger happy or anything. They're not looking to fire their weapon. They're just there. While a lot of us are just searching, and my only weapon is a shovel. I'm just there to dig, you know.
Hey, and your name and anywhere they can find you, or do you have a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel, Ridley Chozo, RIDLEYCHOZO. And I've got a video coming up of just like the inside of like my 10 days I spent with VOP, and it's a lot of stuff. It's on a wide angle lens, so you're not gonna have to watch it through a phone like Loose Arthur stuff, so you're gonna see a little bit more. Better footage of the skull too, and you can really get a sense of how big it is and stuff. So I'm gonna be putting that video out there. I cut like an hour-long thing. I'm not like super talented at this stuff. I'm kind of new. I've only got like 500 subscribers, so it's gonna be it's gonna be what it is. But it's gonna be a lot of footage you guys haven't seen. So if you want to see that, check it out. But my name's Christopher Murray.
So what do we call you out here? What was your handle you got given?
My handle I was playing guitar one day, and someone called me hipster, and it stuck. And now anytime I'm radioed in or anything, they'll say hipster 10-4. You know? Like, do you copy hipster? Yeah. So I'm hipster now. So
they come out, and people that are coming out to help, they can meet hipster here. Thank you, hipster, for everything you're doing. I don't remember what's her name. She didn't want to be filmed live. Where'd she go? They still here? I can cut off live if she doesn't want to be filmed live anymore. It's fine. Everybody's so tired right now. Yeah, but anyways, the whole everybody's decided they don't want Vice to come out. So there's gonna be no Vice. Oh, they're sitting over there. Just so you know. So yeah, and if you're coming down, let me reiterate, if you're going out and you're going on patrols, understand, I do live videos all the time, so, I mean, you got to be comfortable being on live video if you're going to be taking the information of everyone else. So that's in the agreement. So if someone goes and writes an article that violates our agreement, then we'll just hold those people in the news publishing accountable, because you have to give just as much as you're taking. That's how we operate. So you're not going to be able to come in and just get your little 2-minute blurbs that has nothing to do with people finding children and stopping human trafficking, but has every way to do with the tactics, the methods, or the people involved. Well, those are distractions. We don't want those distractions. We want everyone focused on the mission. So everything's going good. We're flipping our schedule a little bit here today. We've got 3 areas that we're going to pound and search, and we got night ops that are going to be pretty fun tonight. And we might be doing something extra too. It just depends on really. It depends on how everything goes this morning. Everyone's kind of resting up after a long day all day and a late night last night. And everybody, like everyone, really, like, yeah, they ran, man. We ran all day yesterday. We ran all night last night, and it was a fruitful day. So this morning, everybody's just gonna rest a little bit. Get the area cleaned up, because we're constantly pounding, and so we'll go through and get the camp reorganized. We're adding another section onto it. With about every 20 or so searches that we complete, we're expanding the fob. So for the more tilled soil we go out and till, the more seeds we plant, then the larger the fob will grow, so to speak. Man, it's been going great. We've been blessed. Does anyone have any questions this morning before we get back to work? Because I don't want people worrying about the media or anything. Mainstream media, no. lower medias, yeah, pawns at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if they're for us, doesn't matter if they're against us, doesn't matter if they come out and lie or twist anything. It doesn't matter what they say. Their voice is not the voice of those of us that are out here. They're here for another agenda. But we will let you on, and I'll make sure everyone can at least see who you are if you're interviewing us. That way they know who to contact if they go out and lie, which 90% of them do. Remember, we got videos and audios, so we can pretty much disprove everything that they don't like about our tactics. And there's hundreds of positive stories done on veterans on patrol. And before finding the sex camp, there was only like 3 or 4 negative ones. And the negative ones, they used me, not the homeless veterans, not the Veteran Suicide Prevention Program. They attacked the individual to discredit the program because the program does one thing that no other program would do. It'll solve problems by putting liberty and freedom back into the hands of those who defended it and let them wreak havoc across evil and across bad guys across our city. You know, it's if you do come down, reminder that we will get you on live video. We will know that, you know, where to find your article and everything. And then we don't care if the online trolls and everybody want to go grab those stories to feed any opposition. Anyone who would write a negative story about these combat veterans out here that are taking hills, that are pushing in the deserts, they're shitting on America, they're shitting on the American soldier, and they're not out here for the kids. The combat vets aren't out here to get their stories done. They're out here doing a job, securing areas so search teams can go and push the corridors over and isolate the human trafficking areas. So if their story's not related, I mean, if you want to write a great story on them being the heroes that they are and what they're doing down here, that's good too. That's fine. We don't care, but we're not going to stop what we're doing just because you're patting us on our back. And we're not going to stop what we're doing because you're trying to grab our shirt and pull us back. We're going to keep marching either way. We don't require the far left or the far right's agenda, because somewhere in the middle is the truth. So as long as we're out here doing live videos, showing you guys the evidence that no one else wants to see, and then when the media continues to lie and their lies get big enough, we just come right back underneath there, chop their legs underneath, show more evidence that they're lying, covering up, and you'll see everyone else's bias. And so, yeah, it's a chess match. It's a chess match with the same system that's perpetuated child sex trafficking, human trafficking, dope smuggling, unsecured borders, and, you know, and what people don't really want to understand, there are thousands of children that are just dropped off, and they have to find their freaking way across these deserts, or even worse, they got some pervert that's taking them up through hidden corridors and raping them along the way. And many of those children are, no one knows. We don't even know how many kids are just, we don't know where they are. No one knows them. No one knows who their parents are. They have no connection. They're just gone. And that's the best way for people to go and snatch up little kids for their little pedophilia perversion, is to target the migrant ones, especially down here on the border. So there's specific groups, and there's a certain reason why we're operating. I got asked by that young lady over there, why are we all the way up here instead of all the way down on the border? And I wanted her to go ask the Border Patrol the same thing. Why is your headquarters all the way up here in my city instead of down on the border where it needs to be? See, but what we've done is we're up here, but we're also down there in 2 areas, and we're further area north. And if you look at where our FOBs are, we are surrounding the TO reservation and the southern half of our border, because the TO facilitates, and they're responsible for thousands of children dying in that desert. But you don't see these journalists having the balls to go down there and interview chairmen of the TO and the big elites who allow this stuff to happen. You don't see them going after them. They want to come out and attack combat veterans and regular Americans and Australians, and it's going to be French, Canadians. We got all kinds of people. We're blessed. But they would rather come out and attack those individuals instead of fight for the children. And then if you say, oh, then the way they'll do is, the media is so good, is they'll twist it around and say, oh, the guy's a false prophet, they're running a cult, they're doing all this. But look, any mainstream media can come down here and talk to a liberal, and they can talk to a conservative. You come out here on patrols, you can talk to a gay person, a straight person. You can talk to a Christian and an atheist. And not only talk to them, you can watch all of us sit around a fire and do plans to go out and look for kids. So the media doesn't even know how to handle this right now. You know? Are you guys still doing patrols?
Thinking about it.
Okay.
We'll let you know.
Yeah. You guys are going to be hot. Make sure you carry a lot of water, because I'm going to walk the shit out of you today. I'll show you all kinds of stuff, but we're going to have to go to some isolated spots. Yeah. Well, I'm like, huh? They don't think they're going? Oh, well, I don't know. Whatever. But if media does come down, yeah, you'll work. We make these little exceptions. We gave her a break, you know. But, you know, just like we've had people that were, like, really far on the right with this whole seal everything up, deport all these illegals and shit like that, you know, you're throwing children who have no free will of their own, had their free will subjugated by evil, you're throwing them under the bus. And you're saying, get rid of them all. No. And, you know, there's children that are being trafficked, abducted, kidnapped, and raped across this border. It is. So, charging, stop, phone overheating. You guys are just throwing all of them under the bus. But yeah, we don't play the media's games. And I told her, she was a little bit upset when I said, well, you're just a useful pawn. Well, that's the truth. Because your little magazine doesn't matter, and you can go out and get your 15 seconds of fame on CNN, and you can make the whole story about Louis Arthur, but everything you say is going to be able to be disproved, and hundreds of people are coming through to see it and volunteer for themselves, so it doesn't matter. The more we can show the media has an agenda, and it's to conceal the truth, and how you don't have people coming out wanting to actually report on the truth and investigate, you don't see none of them digging in, doing their researches into the CMEX property. You don't see them doing any research into some of the information we've released. We told them to fact check and go look at it. You don't see them doing any of that. They're not interested in revealing the truth. And everyone that knows, I mean, it's like at some point you're just going to have to turn your televisions off. Because Fox News has one side of the country going one way, and the Clinton News Network has the other side of the country going one way. But they're all working for the same people because there's no solutions. And the only way that the same people can be in power is if there's problems that we perceive only they can solve. This scares the shit out of the government that are bad. I'm talking about corrupt, powerful people up there who like to control their constituents and control what they think and act. This scares the shit out of our local government. If you think city of Tucson, the sheriff's department, and local law enforcement, and everybody else aren't nervous, and they can say, oh, it's because Louis Arthur and all this. No, it's not. It scares the shit out of you because you don't understand God. You don't recognize God. You don't recognize anything that's happening because it's not being controlled by Louis Arthur or anyone else. It's being controlled by God. And it scares you because now you can't come in and say, oh, it's some racist militia. Oh, it's some far left Antifa wackos. Oh, you can't go and divide us by the same way you divided America. And so the media doesn't know how to do it, you know. And they when they went on their whole destroy Louis Arthur campaign, they were so mad that we wouldn't go do the interviews. That's what I said. If you see reporters come in, we don't need people telling us, you can't let them in. They're from the far left. They're from the far right. We make decisions on the ground as we need to. All right? Better to let these little small-time journalists maybe learn a hard lesson. She got a pretty good lecture from me over this morning. Better to let them learn a lesson so maybe they'll get integrity as they grow older and start becoming a real journalist. Give them an opportunity. All we're doing is planting a seed, and that woman's body is rejecting the truth with every ounce and fiber. Because now she has to get all of her preconceived notions out of her mind. She already had the story in her mind before she came down to it. And the more she wanted to dig, she wanted to find something that would fit her agenda and disregard everything and everyone that doesn't fit their agenda. So it's exposing them to the truth, giving them an opportunity. I'd rather work with some of these young millennials that don't really know shit, and it's not their fault. It's because they've been programmed. It's because your education system programs them. It's because the matrix itself, your televisions, your video games, the way society's set up. Everyone's divided into their little segment. Everybody goes in their little pens. They group together. And then when you have people that are grouping around like-minded, it's the most radical people that are going around like-minded. And they're like-minded for an agenda that suits themselves and their beliefs. But when you do what we're doing, and everyone's like-minded down here around for saving children, for putting a stop to this nonsense that's going on down here on the southern border, then hey, that's powerful. And they don't know how to react to that. So you're just going to have to forgive the media because they're just going to continue to look like assholes and liars, but that's the only way to expose them to you guys. You know, that's it. That's the only way we really know how to. So no, we control the narrative with the media, and we don't matter. We'll let people come in, and they're able to spin and go off and do their little stories. That's good. Let them do it. Don't react to them. What it does is it gets any of the trolls that are out there, people who would try to stop us, people who would try to come harm us, we get a chance to expose them. We got a very large Boots Online group. And believe me, we get the screenshots of the threats, the messages, everything they're saying that's crazy. Yeah, we get all that. So this allows us to see who's close to us, who's coming around our perimeter that's coming for another agenda other than what we're doing. You know, and the ones that we don't know about are the ones that we want to be careful of. The ones we're inviting in, we're not worried about that. We're saying God's got this. There's a hedge of protection. You can come in and do whatever you want. I just told that lady earlier, you're not going to stop God, you know. And that, obviously that's not a faith of hers, but that's fine. She thinks I'm crazy. But you know what? Maybe 5, 10 years from now, when you've had a few consecutive years of a very secured border, neighbors all working with one another, people actually getting help, and then you have veterans that are down here doing a fucking hell of a job. Who knows? Maybe the government will make some program or some agency and put them down here. You never know. But in time, when the fruit ripens, every person who went out and naysayed, they will never have credibility again. And no one will ever believe them. And the rest of their life they'll be a washed-up journalist, a washed-up reporter who lied and lied and lied and tried to stop vets from going down to Arizona, discourage people from helping veterans save children, you know. So, you know, you can't come and attack this program, really, unless you're anti-military, anti-child, or if you're anti-God. There's definitely a lot of them that's coming down. But I've seen a couple start to question, you know, and that's all that matters. If all this was for God to save one soul, that's all that matters. That's God. You can't. I'm not here to argue with what he's doing. I'm just here to do what he tells me to do. So, is there any other question? Dun. We're good on electrolyte, drink mix, guys. We said a whole bunch of Bravo. We are using them pretty fast, but we're pretty much good on those, so you know. I guess Monty and them's been clearing up their little area. They'll come in here and pack their cold drinks and the little snacks and everything you said. They'll pack their bags and get their stuff ready when they go out to do searches. We got to go through and re-outfit these. As you can see, we got to expand. We're making a bigger communications room, put the pay station, and we have around 50 radios, so we're good on radios. I think they said the antennas, extended whips. For those of you that do comms, you know what I'm talking about. But extended whips. We're getting really good range. We had teams pretty split far apart last night, and comms have been working great because you had 3 different teams and a drive team. So there's a total of 5 with the QRF that we were with, and everyone had comms. All the comms were working. Everyone had their earpieces in. You couldn't hear anything unless you were involved in a conversation. So you give these guys the tools. I'm just watching them put it to use the right way, and it's amazing. It's great. Hey, are you leaving today?
Yes.
All right, hold on a minute. For you, go. All right, let's try this again. I'm gonna go here. All right, what's your name? Where are you from? Veteran or whatnot? And when'd you get here?
Frank from West Virginia, Marine veteran, Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I've been here 9 days.
9 days. What have you seen in 9 days down here?
As far as human trafficking, it's a definite, illegals, human trafficking is definitely in here. I mean, everywhere you go, you see the telltale signs of it, the backpacks, and, you know, I found toboggans. What in the world toboggans doing down here in the middle of the desert? This crazy stuff. You just got to go out here and see it to know what's out there. If you drive by on the road or something, you'll never know it's there. You got to get out and actually get in there and find it.
So you've walked through some pretty good brush out here, and I know the answer to most of these questions and everything.
I've been out there day and night.
What do you think about the impact and the way that the operation's been running right now, from your perspective?
We went on patrol last night. It was just as professional of a patrol as any standard military Marine patrol that you would ever walk on. Definitely, you know, it was professional.
As a combat veteran, are you put in a situation where you're leading, expected to lead, and your advice and everything is respected out here?
Yeah, of course.
Do you feel like that we're doing everything we can to put veterans in charge? You as a veteran, that we're doing everything we can to put the veterans in charge of the mission out here?
Definitely, we're on security and we're the ones leading these patrols.
Okay, and do you think that's a good way to do it?
Yes.
All right. So we have your approval for that.
Well, of course.
That's good, because we're going to do it anyways. Now he's been down. You're down 9 days, and you're gonna head back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you got family and things to take care of back home.
But this West Virginia, I know the Aussies interview. What do you think about our Australian team?
They're number 1 A team. Man.
Yeah.
I've met 2 really good friends, and I might go visit them while they're there. We've already had talks of that.
Right on. All right, thanks, Frank. Talk to you later. All right, there's some little transparency for you and a little preemptive strike against some of these individuals that come down for other reasons, but you guys are more welcome to come down, and especially for the vets. Your brothers and sisters down here, they're shining. They're being put in charge of missions, and they're getting those of us that are unarmed, those of us that are going in to do the tracking and to isolate these camps. They're giving us a hell of a lot of protection. We feel safe going in there. So more than welcome to come down. You have to prove yourself in a fire range, a shooting range that we have out here on this property, and you're going to have to prove yourself capable before you're given a long rifle, and you have to be a DD-214 prior law enforcement, or you have approval from the veterans. You could be a gun instructor, an expert hunter, somebody, but for the situations that they're trained for, we want to just keep the people who've gone through their type of training with them, so they have the sharpest tools around them. But it doesn't mean they can't grab a dull two here or there and sharpen it along the way. They'll make those decisions as to who's going out. You better jump on a quad. You can outrun them. Oh, he's on the quad. Cody's on it. All right. But, yeah, so it's working really good. We're safe. We're really safe. The way it's been running it's just, yeah, it's going to keep running that way, and it's going to get a little bit more crazier. But the crazier people say it's getting, the more solutions we're going to have. And we're in for the long haul, so it doesn't matter whether you're against us. And it doesn't really matter if you support us, because God's going to provide us whatever support we need. And if it needs be, I mean, we take care of each other, you know, and we'll find a way to do it. Because at the end of the day, we're going to go into these valleys and mountains, whether we're properly fully equipped or not, if we know that there's children being trafficked through there. Because every day taking to set up the shield and